Good morning and welcome to Live at Bird TV. Saturday. It is only just starting to hit me now, really. I'm going to tell you a story first, a 2015 story. But we're going to have some teary eyes on Saturday. And people say it's only football, and people say, well, come on, you know. But it's a lot more than that. And how can I describe it? Basically, Bobby Firmino is an absolute legend of Liverpool Football Club. And I will be doing follow-up videos from this for James Milner. And I'll do one for the players that are, Oxlade Chamber. I might do it. I'll do a farewell video, but the reason why I'm pausing before I speak now is because I'm just getting flooded with memories just flying through my head right now of Bobby Firmino. And I'm going to tell you the first one. We played Carlisle in the League Cup and I went to the game. And Carlisle brought about 5,000 or 6,000 fans. Absolutely amazing. Again, another classic example of English football being the best football in the world. When you can get teams from lower divisions packing out the away end. I remember Jose Mourinho said that when he took over at Chelsea. They played Scunthorpe United in the team I'm currently on Football Manager. They played Scunthorpe United in the FA Cup. And Chelsea's away end was full of about 6,000 or 7,000 Scunthorpe fans, and he couldn't believe it. So that was me going off subject again, like I always do. But we played Carlisle in the cup. Good morning, Craig pal. Hope you're well. We played Carlisle United in the cup, and I think we drew 1-1 and won on penalties, if I can remember rightly. Bobby Firmino had only just recently signed for us. And I remember being in the car park of the old main stand. Morning, Mark. I was in the car park of the old main stand, and Craig Farragher, you're a steward, but you ain't a Jobsworth, mate. You're a kind-hearted Scouser, but this guy wasn't. He was an absolute Jobsworth, right? So Bobby Firmino was getting out of his car. I think he was going into the main reception of the main stand anyway. And he had his newborn baby with him and his missus. Me being me, I'm quite lucky in terms of I can sort of catch players at the right time. That's why I've got some amazing photos, ranging from Paolo Maldini to Roberto Carlos to Robbie Fowler to Steven Gerrard. The list goes on. Anyway, I said to Bobby, can I have a photo of you, mate, please? And he said, yeah, just give me a minute. And he was getting the baby seat out the back seat. He was getting the baby out. So me being me, dead respectful, stood back. Didn't go and hound him like some fans do when he was around the ground. Good morning, James, pal. So I waited really patiently for Bobby to get out of his car and get the baby seat out, and his missus smiled at me and waved and all that. Again, standing back 2 or 3 yards back from him. And literally, I'm just about to get, and it's winding me up now even the more I think about it, because he's leaving now, and I should have an iconic photo with him. So anyway, this little Jobsworth, he comes jogging over, with his orange coat on, running like an absolute Usain Bolt. And he just gets his hand and pushes me in the chest away from Bobby. And goes, no, this is not happening, no. And he got Bobby and he ushered Bobby and his baby into the ground. Now you can say that's their job. You can say that he's doing what he's paid to do. But I was fucking fuming. I actually waited for him to take, because again, being respectful, I didn't want to swear and curse in front of Bobby and his kid. So I waited. I was fuming. I was shaking. I was so fucking angry. Bear in mind, I wasn't living in Liverpool at the time. I was living in Grantham, which was 150 mile away. So I'd made the journey up. And then I had to make the journey home. So I used to watch Liverpool sometimes 2-3 times a week, and it was a 300-mile round trip. I used to go with Matty Purchase. But I got hold of him. I said, see if you ever do that to me again. One, don't fucking put your hands on me. and two, fans like myself have travelled miles to get here, and fans like myself have put thousands of pounds worth of their money into this football club since I was a kid. And people like you, I was fucking livid. I'm surprised I got in the ground. Anyway, this was before Bobby became massive. I actually was quite frustrated at him in the early stages because against Carlisle he was pretty poor. He was poor. I was row one of the Kenny Dalglish stand, the old main stand. Sorry, the Kenny. Yeah, this is the Kenny stand. Yeah, so he was going in the Kenny car park, not the main stand. So anyway, I obviously got in the ground, and I was a couple of rows up. So anyone that's sat in the Kenny Dalglish stand knows that you get a really good pitch level view if you're in the first couple of rows in the Kenny stand. Brilliant. You're actually below the pitch. So if you're in the first row of the Kenny, you're below the pitch. So he was getting knocked off the ball. He just looked lightweight. He just looked like he didn't know how to play in English football. The Carlisle defence were bullying him. And I remember going, we've spent 28 million on this guy. And that was my early stages of it. And I'm going to read a piece out in a minute which coincides with how I felt at the time. A lot of people felt like that. But then he just clicked on. He clicked on. He became this absolute... I'm just reading Craig Carragher's comment. I would have refused entry to you for doing that. Only messing, mate. You know I wouldn't stop someone making a memory for life. I know that, mate. You're not a job's worth. You're a good steward, and a good mate as well. So yeah. So anyway, going back to what I was saying. Carlisle, we drew. I think it was. Do you remember rightly? I'm sure it might have been Emre Can that scored the penalty to win the game for us. Remember rightly? Anyway, so basically, yeah, so Bobby was lightweight and all that, and then obviously became what he is. So I'm just going to read this out. So, obviously, his early career, Bobby Firmino. So his full name is Roberto Firmino Barbosa de Oliveira. Born on the 2nd of October 1991, is a Brazilian professional footballer who plays as a forward or attacking midfielder for Premier League club Liverpool and the Brazil national team. He started his career with Figueirense in Brazil in 2009, where he spent 4.5 seasons. And then he joined Hoffenheim. His 16 goals in 33 games in the Bundesliga in 2013-14 earned him an award for League's Breakthrough Player. In July 2015 he signed for Liverpool, where he earned plaudits for his creativity, goal scoring and work rate, with manager Jurgen Klopp referring to Firmino as the engine that propels the club's counter-pressing system. And I think Cody Gakpo is going to be that new sort of player. I think Cody Gakpo will get the number 9 shirt, in my opinion, in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So it says here, in 2018-19 he won the Champions League, and the following season UEFA Super Cup, FIFA World Cup after scoring the winner in the final, and the 219-220 title. He also won the FA Cup with Liverpool. Firmino made his international debut for Brazil in 2014 as representing the nations, 219, 221 Copa America and the FIFA World Cup 2018. I couldn't believe he wasn't at the last World Cup because he was injured. So anyway, so this is his Liverpool career. On the 23rd of June 2015, Hoffenheim and Firmino agreed terms for the transfer to the Premier League club for Liverpool. £29 million on the conclusion of the tournament, subject to a work permit. Liverpool confirmed the signing the following day, subject to a medical. The deal was finalised on the 4th of July. Firmino made his debut on the 9th of August, replacing Jordan Knight for the final 12 minutes of a 1-0 win away to Stoke. On the 21st, I remember being at that game, because it was the Coutinho. Remember the Coutinho won the goal. I was actually behind the goal at Stoke away for that one, where Coutinho bends it in off the crossbar. Absolutely amazing. On the 21st of November, Firmino scored his first goal for Liverpool in a 4-1 victory over Man City at the City of Manchester Stadium. In 2019, Firmino was described by Paul Little of the Irish Examiner as steadily improving during his first season, although an inability to combine with centre-forward Benteke drew criticism in the early stages of his Liverpool career. And I actually think that was because he was playing with Benteke. You know, because if you think about Bobby Firmino, the way he plays, he drops down, he drops deep, and he plays in the hole. Having Salah and Mane bombing each side of him is what is all about his game. If you've got a statue-type-esque Benteke, it's the reason why Klopp got rid of Benteke dead quickly. It's no thanks, goodbye. And he was useless, Benteke, for us, apart from his goal at Old Trafford. So it says here, however, in 2016, Firmino's form improved as manager Jurgen Klopp played him alone up front in the false 9 role. He scored braces against Arsenal and Norwich that month, the latter performance in which he was also assisted in a 5-4 win earned comparisons to Raheem Sterling. With his form improved, Firmino was voted Liverpool's Player of the Year, Player of the Month for January. Firmino ended the season at Liverpool's league top scorer with 10 goals. On the 23rd of August, Firmino scored his first goal of the 2016-17 season, scoring a 5-0 win over Burton Albion. Again, I was at that game. I went to that in the EFL Cup. Firmino scored his first league goals for the season in the 4-1 win over Leicester, scoring a brace on the 10th of September. And on the 29th of October, Firmino scored in a 4-2 win over Palace. And on the 6th of November, he scored in a 6-1 win over Watford. The latter result saw Liverpool move up to the top of the league in the league table. For the first time under Klopp, Firmino finished the season with 12 goals in 38 games. We move on to 2017-2018. Before the start of the 2018 season, Firmino switched his shirt number to 9 from number 11, with new signing Mohamed Salah taking his number 11. Firmino scored his first goal of the season on the 12th of August, scoring a penalty in a 3-3 draw with Watford. On the 17th of December, he scored in a 4-0 away win at Bournemouth, a result which saw Liverpool become the first team in Premier League history to win 4 consecutive away games by a margin of at least 3 goals. On the 5th of January 2018, during an FA Cup match with Everton, Firmino was a subject of controversy following a clash with Everton defender Mason Holgate. Holgate pushed Firmino into the advertising boards, which was followed by a pair exchanging words, with Firmino seemingly insulting the player following the match. Holgate accused Firmino of racially abusing him, which is bullshit, seeming that Firmino is more or less black himself. Nearly 2 months later, after they had taken statements from 12 different players, several referees consulted to the readers. The football session cleared Firmino of any offence. On the 14th of January 2018, Firmino scored in a 4-3 home win over Newcastle, which saw Liverpool end City's unbeaten league run. On the 10th of April, he scored in a 2-1 win over Man City in the second leg of the Champions League, which saw Liverpool advance to the semi-final 5-1 aggregate win over Man City. Firmino started and played the whole 90 minutes in the Champions League final, with Liverpool losing 3-1 to Real Madrid. During the season, Firmino, Salah and Coutinho and Mane made up a prolific attacking quartet dubbed the Fab Four, which was amazing. And you can forget, when you're going into new seasons, you forget about last season. And can you remember when we had the Fab Four? You had Philip Coutinho, you had Mane, Salah, Firmino, Coutinho, sorry. Absolutely amazing. Following the mid-season exit of Coutinho, the 3 remaining players were dubbed the Fab Three, with the trio having a total of 91 goals between them at the end of the season. Now let me just read that out again. 91 goals our front three got for us in that season. That is absolutely phenomenal. Firmino was Liverpool's joint top scorer in the Champions League together with Salah with 11 goals. Firmino was also included in the 2017-18 Champions League squad of the season. And 2017-18 season, Firmino's most prolific in his Liverpool career, where he scored 27 goals in all competitions. We then move on to the 2018-19 season. After going goalless in all 3 matches played in August, Firmino scored his first goal in a 2-1 win over Leicester on the 1st of September. On September the 15th, he scored in a 2-1 win over Tottenham at Wembley Stadium. Still remember that. A game that saw him leave the field 15 minutes before the end of an eye injury. He came off the bench 3 days later to score in a stoppage time winner in Liverpool's 3-2 win over Paris Saint-Germain at Anfield. That again was a great game, great memories. On the 19th of January 2019, he scored his 1,000th goal at Anfield. Or scored Liverpool's 1,000th goal at Anfield in the Premier League 4-week 4-3 win over Palace. Now it goes on here to say more about going into the next season. Well, I'm not going to read it all out because you'll be here too long with me. But his style of play is regarded at his peak as one of the greatest strikers in the world of football. Firmino is known for his clinical finishing, proficient technical ability, and impressive work rate. So Ryan Babel, a teammate of Firmino at Hoffenheim, described him as a tricky player. He can dribble, shoot, he has a great shot, he can play a lot of through balls, and his assists are very good, while also praising his heading ability, which would not be common amongst other players of Firmino's slender build. And a lot of people will probably not remember that about Bobby, but he's actually really good in the air. One of my favourite goals he scored was the one where it was when we were going through the COVID situation, where we were allowed fans back in the ground, and I think there was only 2,000 there for Tottenham, wasn't there? And he scored that last minute header, and he sprang the length of the pitch and slid on his knees in front of the Kop. And just hearing the sound of fans, you know, screaming again. I mean, I'll never ever forget, just like yourselves, that COVID season of empty football grounds. I was working at Anfield during that. So the season we won the league, I was there, and it was surreal. It was like watching a Sunday League match. And that shows you, I don't mean Sunday League match in terms of quality, but the noise. A couple of fans in the stadium and the odd cheer when a goal goes in. I never want them days back again. I really don't. I'd rather be dead than go through COVID again. I'm sure you would. But yeah, so I'm going to read out some more comments here. So Craig Farragher, I think Nunez will get 9 and Gakpo get 10. Diaz will take the 7 and the shirt and midfielder will take the 8. So yeah, probably McAllister will take the 8. I don't know. The only reason I think, oh hang on, yeah, you're probably right there. Gakpo 10. Well, no, if it's a false 9, you'd give 9 to Gakpo, wouldn't you? And Nunez would get 10. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, you're probably right, Craig, on that one. Peter, how you doing, mate? He was a nobody before he came to LFC, and look at him now. Everyone knows his name and how much he's given to our club. Boys walking away, a legend, loved by all. Gutted he's going, but game time had hard to come by just now, and feel he's away to Spain to finish off his career in the sun. It's going to be a hard watch, the Aston Villa match. Him, James Milner, best free player we've ever had, true leader on the park, gives every game and helps so much in the dressing room, respected. Sorry, just lost track where I am. Respected by everyone in the club. Ox has been fantastic when he first came to us, hard working and that attacking midfielder we just needed. Just injuries ruined his chances. I'd ruined Cater. Well, nothing to say there apart from Klopp worst buy yet and waste of money. Totally agree. And wages with all his chances he had never turned up. Adrian done well when stepped in. Got a load of medals and trophies. Totally agree with that. And done well when Alisson was out injury. Yeah, I totally agree on that. Peter, mate, I do. The reason why I've put this photo in this live video is the picture that's on this video now is the 4 trophies. Now, that picture to me is my favourite picture because I'm actually stood right behind that picture right now watching Firmino, because I was actually doing my job. I was actually cleaning. I think I was cleaning the Kenny stand. I was doing the first few rows, and that was when the best day of my life happened. When after Salah and Klopp and all the players had gone up there for pictures with their families, Gini went out and went on. Firmino was the last, and everybody had gone home. Players all said cheerio, and next minute they said, Neil, can you do us a favour? And I'm waiting for them to give me another instruction to go and do something else, and he says go on that pitch and lift every one of them. And I thought they were winding me up, and I lifted every single one of them trophies. So it's like looking at that picture, it was such a big part of all of our lives. I mean, them trophies there are iconic trophies. World champions, Super Cup winners, Premier League champions and European Cup winners. So what a year. And this is why, I know I'm not going back to the FSG Art Brigade again, but this is why I get annoyed with them, because I remember someone put up, we need to get rid of these owners because these have been truly dark times under their ownership, and I nearly fucking spat my cornflakes out. I mean, dark times. I mean, look at that image that Bobby's doing right now. Dark times. You've never seen dark times. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in this summer. We are going to go big in terms of, we're not going to sign squad players. We're going to sign players that go straight into the starting 11, like McAllister, like Gravenberch. You know, we're going to bring in people that are going to game change, along with the fact we've got some unbelievable youngsters coming through, and we'll move on. I mean, I remember, this is a true story. I got stopped by a television company outside at the Cop End once after we just sold Coutinho, and the first question they put to me was, do you think Liverpool can come back now they've sold Coutinho? And I went, come back? I says, we sold Owen, right? We got Torres. We sold Torres. We got Suarez. We sold Suarez. We got Salah. Liverpool always come back. I wish to God I still had the footage from that interview that I gave that day, because I was nervous about Coutinho going. But what did we do? We went and spent it on Virgil and Alisson and won everything that you see in this video. Yeah, cheers Peter. Yeah, love that one. You'll never forget. Milner will also go down as a Liverpool legend, but also a Premier League legend too. Totally agree, Craig, and I'm going to do a James Milner video later on today. But yeah, that's my tribute to Bobby. We all love him. I have been quite negative about Jones this season, Craig. It's Craig Farragher, but the last few games he has shown that he is there to fight for this place, and he's another good young player we have at our disposal. Yeah, exactly. Jones is only 22. He only turned 22 in January. So you've got a lad there who's a Scouser. Who I mean, I was listening to Redmen TV yesterday. I actually shared it on this group, and Chris Pajak, and Paul Machin were saying, what you don't understand is people say that if he wasn't Scouse, he wouldn't play for us. He said, yeah, okay, I can take that, but there's a reason Scousers are great. He said, and then he used John Flanagan as an example. He said John Flanagan was unbelievable in the 2016-17 season. He got dubbed the Scouse Cafu, and then since he's left Liverpool, he dropped down to Bolton for a bit. He went to Rangers. I don't even know where he is now. I think he was at Daniel Agger's team, Kogi, in Denmark, the last I checked. But playing for Liverpool meant so much to John Flanagan, and playing for Liverpool means so much for Curtis Jones. So I think that there is a player in there. His technical ability, he's good with his left foot, he's good with his right, he can twist and turn, a little bit like Firmino. He manages to turn on the half turn really well. And his quality. He's just had injuries. It's like anything. I mean, I've played football, right? And even if you miss 4 or 5 Sunday League games, you're rusty when you come back. Lads are well ahead of you. Once you get a run of games, you start getting that feel of the ball again. You start getting that touch. You start getting what's called match sharpness. He's had 9 games in a row now, I think it's 9, Redmen TV said. He'll start again on Saturday, and I think he'll start now to the end of the season. And we will have a brand new Curtis Jones going into next year, and he will be like a new signing. So we wanted midfielders in. Well, we've gained one with Trent. We've gained another one with Curtis coming back. And then we've got, obviously, Bashatic, who will be brand new again in the summer. We've got Tyler Morton coming back. We've got Leighton Clarkson coming back. And we've also got Harvey Elliott, Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho. So we're overrun, but we still need to bring in quality in case we have a bad season again. So Peter, again, you're not the only one, bud. He's proven me wrong big time. Thought he was done for, was never turning up in games, but I'm glad he said it himself 5 weeks ago. He was finding it hard, was what he said. Now the lad's flying, him and Trent saving us loads of money. Yeah, and what I hope is that the FSG outers don't start beating us with our own stick, because I'm not being funny. What we've got to do to beat teams like Man City's, we've got to do what Jurgen calls smart recruitment. Now, just because if we don't bring in 5 or 6 players this month and we believe in the lads that we've got, but then we bring in 2 players for big money. So say if we bring in a £70 million defender and an £80 million midfielder and an £80 million midfielder, we sign 2 players, right, and then get a centre back on a free or something like that. Don't be. If we lose a couple of games next season, don't be going, see, I told you, this is what happened. Because none of us can see the future. This is what does my head in about the FSG Art Brigade. They already are predicting. In fact, they're not predicting. They are waiting for Liverpool to fail to beat us with a stick again. So I hope that Liverpool go out this summer and do what's right for the club. Go and get a great centre back, great centre midfield. What does my head in is the people that think that lads like myself that want FSG to stay don't want investment. Of course we fucking do, but we want it to be the way we've done it in the past, which by the photo to this side of me right now, right, was successful before. So let's go back into the market. Let's be really classy. Let's be successful in terms of what kind of players we get again, and we'll be back again, and we will be winning trophies. I'm just going to read the last couple of comments. Mr. Start again. Don't worry about it, Pam. You can rewind it to the start. And Craig Farragher, I would personally throw a bid for Casello and push Trent into the field. Yeah, because he's been playing right back. I actually would as well, mate. If he was going to offer me now McAllister or Caicedo. Did you say Cancelo? I'm sure you mean Caicedo, don't you? Because you put Cancelo. Yeah, I know what you mean, Craig. So I know, yeah, it's Caicedo. Yeah, so Caicedo can play right back and centre midfield. So you could look at it as rotate it in games. So say if we've got Man City and Foden's down the left, play Caicedo right back, Trent in midfield. But then when we're playing like say a Forest, you wouldn't need to play Caicedo. You could play Trent at right back and have more attacking midfield. So you could just change it in the way it is. But anyway, thanks for the video and love to Bobby. Put your comments on this video, and we all love Firmino. He's a complete legend. You'll never walk alone.